It's okay. I just think I don't care. All right, we're gonna try this live one more time, and you know, if it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Hopefully, y'all can see me. Okay, how can I see? Okay, I'm live on here. I'm live on everywhere, hopefully. Okay, cool. I can see myself. Okay, let's. That's all I need to see. Anyway, y'all hear anything? It's my mom, my brother. I don't care at this point. Okay, so the whole point of this whole thing is for us to create a virtual private network and have them peer with one another. We got blocked last time because I couldn't use PowerShell with the lab, but now I'm in my own account. I didn't, right? I'm in my own account. No, I'm an idiot. Hold on. Again, it's not even late. It's like, what time is it over here? 5:38 on the West Coast. Yeah, but it's not 10:38 right now. I mean, it says 5:38 on the West Coast. All right, let's log in to my other one. I just had it too, and then didn't log out. So hopefully you guys were following along earlier, so you know what I'm doing. But if not, I am just practicing some Azure to take the certification probably at the end of this month. I'm not 100% sure. I've been procrastinating, but I do want to take it at the end of the month. Okay, have it up and ready. Let us share again. Cool. Can you guys still see what I'm doing? Because if you can, it is over. It is over. It is over. Probably at the end of Yep. Yeah, you can. Okay, cool. Cool. So first step is we're going to create a virtual network and network security group. We can do that by creating a virtual network when you're in Microsoft Azure. If you just look for network, there's a bunch of different options that come up. What we're looking for are virtual networks. This allows you to set up your own network. You see there's already kind of one there, but I'm going to do a new one, right? So we're going to press add. This will create a new, you'll see Azure subscription 1. When it comes to resource group, you can create a new resource group. There's a bunch of different resource groups in here, but you can create a new resource group. So I could just say new test resource. I can't spell. Yes, I can. Group. All right. My instance name, I've been calling everything first VM. I'm going to say Damos first VM. Damos first virtual machine. That is the name of my instance that is the name of the virtual network. So let me actually put, I meant to say first network, not first VM. So Damos first network is the name of my I'm creating, and the region. So when it comes to region, for the purpose of this test demo, region could be anywhere. I'm going to put US East because that's where I'm located typically. But region really comes into play when you have to take into account how data is being where data is being processed. So like if you are an organization that can only process your data in the United States, if you can only process it in Europe or in certain locations in Europe, then you need to be more specific and a little bit more granular. But again, for our purposes, because this is a test demo, I'm not going to go that deep into it. All right, so for the IP addresses, they said to make my primary should be over. We're going to miss 10.10.10.0 /4. We're not going to do IPv6, and then we're going to add a subnet. We're just going to say first subnet. Our first subnet is going to have the IP range of 10.10.10.0 /26. Now I'm using Linux Academy as my guide because I have access to it through my job and we can do a bunch of the different labs there. It was pretty difficult for me to find free Azure labs, like a step-by-step lab that didn't have a paywall behind it. Microsoft really offers a lot of modules, which is good for learning the information, but I didn't see where you can get hands-on practice without going through some kind of vendor that makes you pay for it. So this one, you should be able to follow along with your own personal account, and we shouldn't need their created lab. But I am going to try to find some more that can be a little bit more helpful. But that is I did have a little bit more difficulty. At least with Google, they have side-by-side labs that come a part of their free curriculum that you can do, which I appreciated. But I'm going to do that later on when Google is the next certification I'm going after this one. Okay, so we have our main address space and our subnet space. By the way, I can't see the chat because I'm sharing my screen and I only have one screen here right now. So if you just tweet me at DOMYBOO, I can see what you say there. Okay, cool. So we've fixed the IP address. We don't need to do the firewall just yet. We're going to leave everything else as default because that's what it told us to do. It's running a validation tech. You would know if you didn't create this right because it would not let you validate it as the first time I saw. And we're going to create. Now that should take some time. Earlier it was taking over a minute, when usually it depends on what the size or what the parameters are that it takes a while, but it shouldn't take, hopefully it doesn't take this long. Boom. Oh no, it's still underway. Okay. Let me double back and make sure y'all can still see what that is doing while that is going. Okay, cool. Everything's still up. All right. Come home and see. Still going. So when you sign up for your free trial, I don't know, I know I said this in my earlier videos, but I think I deleted the earlier ones. So if you go to Azure portal, you should be able to sign up for a free trial and it gives you $300 credits. As you can see, I have $200 remaining. When you create resources, you use up money. So if you sign up, you'll get $300, and then those $300, either you have $300 or 30 days to use it, but you can use multiple email addresses like I do in order to get the free trials. Okay, so our network group, our virtual network was created. Let's create our security group next. So we're gonna type in network security group, and I feel like it created one of us. Associate energy with a virtual network just created. And I'm pretty sure it's associated with our first one. So let's double check, right? Because the instruction's saying to associate a network security group, but I know a network security group is created when you create a virtual network. So, oh, it's my first one. Got you. Yeah, there's no network. Okay, cool. So we're going to create a security group. So we're going to come here to network security group. We're going to press add. So we're going to associate this with the new test resource. You could have named it anything else, but this is the one that I just created. And we're going to call this network security group. I'm going to put it in the same region because I want all my resources in the same region. Now you can have resources in different regions, like that's okay. You would just, when it comes to peering, which is what we're going to do later, you would peer it using a global peering rather than the local one. Like local is if they're in the same region. If they're not in the same region, you could still peer, but it would just be a different kind of peering option. Okay. We don't need tags. Let it run validation. Cool. Now we have created a virtual network, our first virtual network, and then a network security group. Right, it's finished. Awesome, awesome. All right, let's come to step 2, right? Wait. Associate it with the virtual network just created. Is that what we did? Hold on. Assign Damo's first network. Can I move this over, by the way, to make it bigger? Okay. Okay, so this is my network. I want to associate it with my network security group. I don't want to tag it. I don't want to move it. Let's come back to security groups. And let's see if this can be, do not delete that joint. Okay, it's associated with the same resource group. So I'm going to assume that because they're all within the same resource group, I should be, like, that should be fine. If not, it'll let us know in a bit. Okay. Step 2, let's create a virtual machine. So from the dashboard, we are going to come to virtual machines. That's my old one. I'm going to call this one. I'm going to put everything in the same resource group. And I'm going to call this the new test VM. I'm still going to keep it in US East. So for Windows image, it says to change it to a Windows Server 2019 and to change the virtual machine size to B2. Let me check something. B2, which is right here, which is cheaper than the other option. It'll populate how much it costs here. I don't know if the last one showed a price. The first time I did it with the default size, it said it was like $137 a month. Well, you don't want to pay that, right? Because that'll eat up all of your free credits really quickly. So this one is $36 a month. We're not even going to keep it up at rent. $36 a month means you have this virtual machine running every day for the entire month, which we're not going to do. This is just for the purposes of today. We're going to shut her down. Okay, so we did the virtual machine size. We're going to create a new admin account. I'm just going to call it Damo again, and I'm going to create a password. Everyone, you should tell my brother that he needs to be studying his 100 days of code. He's over here playing games. I'm making him do my younger brother wants to be a software engineer and code games. So because we have 100, not with the gang signs though, because I'm doing 100 days of cloud, I'm like, yo, you should do 100 days of code. So that way, like, you know, just kind of brother sister bonding kind of stuff. But he ain't trying to bond because he ain't doing his work. Exactly. You hear him in the background? Okay, cool. Anyway, username, password, important, set public IP to none. We're going to do that on the next page. Leave everything else as default. Now, it will tell you, like, if you allow certain ports that are inbound, it will warn you. It's like, yo, this is going to allow all IP address access to your virtual machine. Only do this for testing. Do not do this for production. Don't say they didn't warn you. Disk, you can leave the same. Networking. You see the virtual network that we created earlier is now associated with this virtual machine. And then the subnet we created is also associated with this. And then public IP is telling us to do public IP set to none. So we're going to change that and then set boot diagnostics, which I think is on the next page. Yeah, boot diagnostics, we're going to set that to off. Everything else is going to be off automatically. We can leave that alone because it doesn't tell us to do anything more, and I'm not trying to add more things that don't make sense. I have set RDP open to the internet. This is only recommended for testing. Yes, it is for testing. It's not going to be up long, so we're going to leave it on, and we don't have sensitive data, anything of that nature in there. So let's first create. All right, so that's going to take a little time to get together. We're going to let our virtual machine do its thing. And I know it's how 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh yeah, 8 something over there. I would definitely be in bed playing games. All right, you can check to see if your resources that you have created are still pending or still being created by clicking these 3 dots. What is that called? I don't know. I know this is called the hamburger. It's 3 dots. I'm going to call it 3 dots. Yeah, if you come to notifications, it'll tell you either your deployment has succeeded, it will tell you if it errored out, or it will say if it's in progress. A virtual machine is still in progress because things take some time. And that's okay. So we're going to go to our second one. I just want to get that up and going before I create another resource. Do I have to attach it? No, because that's a separate one. I don't believe I have to attach it. Nothing for you. I just want to collect. Next up, I'll have music in the background. And I'll have my 2 screens. Oh, my 2 screens to let go home. But let me see, can I push it? How do I like permanently get this to not show up anymore? That's really annoying. Also, the user interface for Azure is just like, not that I'm not sure how do you put 100 resources or services in a way to look pretty, but I have been finding it pretty difficult to navigate in comparison to other ones. Now that also could be because I'm not used to it, but it's just a little less intuitive than like other platforms that I've experienced. Okay, cool. So I think from that notification, our virtual machine was created. Cool. We have successfully created a virtual network. We created a network security group, and then we created a virtual machine. So now let's create a second virtual network and firewall. So The virtual network is here, right? So I said first network. We're gonna call it same resource group, demos second network. Still in US East region. I think this time it's a different address space, right? So our primary address space is going to be 10.10.200.0/24. And you know it's correct because there'll be like a check mark there. If you're already using this space for something else, I don't think it'll block you clearly. You still don't want to use that. And we're going to add another subnet range, 10.10.200.0/20. Oh, I always do that. It's the name first, second subnet, and then 26, right? 10.10.200.0/26. All right, cool. Security. Now this time it says enable the firewall, and we're gonna just call this first firewall. And then it says that the subnet address space is going to be 10.10.200.64/26. Don't ask me all these numbers. Subnetting is not my forte. Okay. So the issue I have with choosing a public IP address is that the public IP address we signified in our virtual machine, we set to none. So I'm wondering, should I create new again or should I? Okay, it says cannot be associated with this application gateway. I'm not going to do that one. I'm just going to press review and create. I knew it was going to do that. Okay, so I'm going to have to do, where was I? Create new. New IP. Now it should let us do it. Because I was having trouble last time earlier. It was trying to associate itself with my first virtual machine, but my first virtual machine doesn't have public IP, which was confusing. So anyway, we're going to create this second virtual network. And that'll take a while, so we'll let that keep going. Dun, 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 dun. So in the meanwhile, while that's going, what I'm thinking about doing, for those of you who are new, I do Security in Color. It's a cybersecurity podcast. And every Tuesday and Thursday, I speak about cybersecurity news. And then Thursdays, I do a deep dive on cloud security topics. And we just finished season 2, and I was trying to figure out how do I incorporate these labs, because I know a lot of people are trying to get into cloud security, and I like to share. I'm thinking I'm going to do 2 really quick labs during the week, like on Twitch and then I'm going to do longer ones on the weekend. But that one will be like recorded for Patreon, for those who are part of the community, which you should be a part of with Patreon at /Security in Color. Building a really, really cool community, and I was trying to figure a way how to incorporate everything. So if you want to join, you should. This takes forever. All right, so while that's in progress, what is the next step for us? So we enabled the firewall, blah, blah, blah. We need to peer. Okay, so this is where I got stuck at last time, because they said you need to peer the virtual network together without telling you that you need to do PowerShell, or I was reading that the only way to peer is to do PowerShell. And I haven't done PowerShell in forever. I don't know how to do that. So, and it's not, again, these instructions, I don't know if you can see, they're not very, they're not hand holding you, which I like. I like hand holding. So let's figure that out. Yeah, while that's going, let's figure out the peering thing, because that is where I got stuck at last time. So when I did peer, I want a peering service. Oh, is that what that is? No, I don't want different subscriptions. So what's cool, what I like about, and I can't remember, no, GCP I think does the same thing, where like when you type in peer, it tells you all the services associated with peer, all your resources. Like if I named a virtual machine called peering, or marketplace, or documentation, I think that's pretty cool. And especially that'll help you find resources pretty quickly. Then say that wasn't it. Yeah. Okay, so first network, second network. That's when good old Google comes into play, right? How to peer network. Yes, that one? No, 1.1. You can connect virtual networks to each other with virtual network peering networks. So that's what I was talking about earlier, where if you create your networks in different regions, that will be known as a global VNet peering. But if they're in the same region, it's a regular peering. Once virtual networks appear, resources in both virtual networks are able to communicate with one another, meaning once we connect the two networks I have, now granted, they're in the same resource group, but if they're in different resource groups, or if they were in different regions, you would want them to communicate with one another, sometimes without traversing their internet. That's a way to do it. Okay, so, excuse me, we created the two subnets. We created the two networks. In the search box at the top of Azure Pro, to begin typing in, oh, my virtual network appears selected. Okay, so what was the first one called? Damo's first network? Okay. Damo's first. Wait, what did it tell me to do? I forgot already. And select peering. Oh snap, we learned something, guys. Okay. And then select add. Wow, okay, so that's under peerings. Is that what oh, it was under, oh, is this the same? No. Oh, yeah, okay. I know what they did. Okay, so Damo's first network. We're gonna go to peerings. We're gonna go to add, right? Is that what we're supposed to do? Yes. Enter or select the following information, accept the defaults, and then select OK. Name of the peering from my virtual network. Name of the peering from my first peer. See, that's right. Peering details. Resource Manager Classic. I think we know our resource ID, no? When the page first loads, you see the phrase remote virtual network here. After you choose the remote virtual network, the phrase remote virtual can be replaced with the name of the virtual. What? What? Subscription. Select my subscription. It doesn't, listen. This isn't matching up. Peer virtual networks. I selected it. Select peerings under settings. I did. And collect add. I did. Enter or select the following information, accept the defaults for the remaining, select OK. Name of the peering. I've already done that. Subscription. Virtual network. To select my virtual network, to select virtual network. then select, okay. Okay. See, it's showing me the different virtual machines. Virtual networks that I created. And you see how it's saying I can't peer with this network because this is the network I'm peering with. So I'm going to choose the second network. Okay. And it chose the subscription for me. Okay, great. My first peering, great. And it's saying name of peering from Damo's first network, so Damo's second network. Okay, great. Name of peering. That one I'm a little confused about. Oh, okay. Name of peering. Okay. Perfect. We're going to just say, I'm going to just copy that, honestly. Oop. Yeah. Because that was a little confusing. Oh. Okay. So we're going to say from Damo's network to Damo's. Okay, cool. And then I think it said leave everything else as default, right? Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna leave everything else as default. Wait, did you tell me to leave everything else as default? I didn't even look at the instructions. I'm like doing my own thing. Let me double check. I gotta double check every time that this is still streaming because last time someone told me. Yeah, I'm gonna leave everything else as default. Okay, perfect. Did you tell me to leave everything else as default? Get off. Get turned off. Okay, cool. So did we do the instructions right? We peered the network. The name of both peers can be anything. Enable every peering option except gateway transit. Okay, you see, I almost didn't listen to them. It says enable, except gateway transit. Okay. Create a route table and add a new route. Okay, so from here it said the peering status is connected, otherwise I have to refresh. Oh, wait. Oh. Okay, it says updating. So we're going to give that a second to update. Boom, connected. We have now connected our first network to our second network. Okay. What now? Okay, cool. It's just giving me notifications. Let us create. What is happening over there? My brother's being a pig. Create a route table and add a new route. Okay. I don't know how to do that. Oh. Good old search. Okay, so we're gonna create a route table. I'm calling everything my first everything. My first route table. Yeah, yeah. The address prefix should be 0.0.0.0. So subscription resource group again. Create the resource group you created. Again, put it in US East region or whatever region that works for you. Virtual network gate route propagation. I'm gonna press enable simply because I'm not doing automation. Ooh, bring that back. Oh, I gotta create the route table first. Duh. I was about to say, I don't see no address prefix, bro. All right. Let that create. A lot of time, honestly, truly, is you just waiting. Oh, you made a fool out of me. I was gonna say a lot of time is you just waiting for your resource to be created, but of course your route table takes 2 seconds, right? And I don't gotta wait. I do. Where's that? Where's my notifications? Bro, what's happening? Okay, so what I've noticed every time that I create a resource, and I said this in my last video, so every time I create a resource, it takes a while as it's creating to show up in the page. What I noticed when I work with other platforms, so like when I work with GCP, the resource will automatically show itself even if it's pending. Whereas I noticed I have to refresh pretty often here, And it makes me feel like I didn't create my resource. But, you know, 'tis life, I guess. I don't know who designs this stuff. All right, so no, I don't want to add. I want to go here and I want to add a new route, right? Is that what you asked me to do? Yes, I want to add a new route. So I'm assuming if I come to routes and I go to add, I can add a new route. My first route. Everything's my first everything. Okay, here's address prefix. Address prefix is 0.0.0.0/0. And the next hop is going to be a virtual appliance. And then the address they said is 10.10.200.68. Now, if you remember, I think we used this 10.10.200 earlier for our second firewall. Yes, in the same address space. Or we're putting the address space here of where it's hop to, the first hop. The next hop is going to be for that second virtual network. Okay. The next hop address is 10.10.6 and the IP of the Azure firewall. What's that? Okay, I'm just gonna press OK. We're gonna hope that that's what they meant. Okay, successfully added. Let's double check. Do I have to move and come back? Okay, cool. My first route, and you can see the next hop. Okay, associate the route table to the second VNet created. Sure. How do you do that? Zero subnet associations. It didn't say. Associate the route table to the second VNet. So let's come back to our second VNet. Let's come back to virtual networks. Second network. And can I associate a I was trying to figure out if it had. I have no idea. No, that's not what I wanted. Let's come back to my route table. And I don't know how to associate. Oh, associate. Hey, okay. Let me backtrack. I can remember what I did. So it says associate the route table to the second VNet created. So what I did is I went to the route table I created. Ooh, I forgot already. I went to subnets. Yes, I went to associate. It asked what virtual network we want to create it with the second one, which automatically populates the second subnet. Well, not populate, but it kind of saves. All right, almost there. I don't know why they would ask us to do this. When I was trying with this lab account, they didn't have storage associated, and it wasn't letting me get this far. Okay, anyway, so we're gonna allow IDP traffic through the Azure firewall and security group. So it says option indicated a source public IP may be presented to further demonstrate inbound security filtering. This can be acquired by querying Google by browsing to a website, blah, blah, blah. Before creating the firewall rule, take note of the public IP address of the firewall itself. So we're gonna add a network address translation rule, collection and create rule. Where are they asking me to create this? To where? I'm gonna assume it's here. No, in my firewall. In which firewall though? They didn't say which one. I'm gonna do my first network. If I come to firewall. Oh, I don't have a firewall. Well, that would be nice to. Oh, earlier say create a firewall. Well, luckily I can create it now. So we're gonna name it my first firewall. because that is my first in this one. We're going to do East US again. We can leave availabilities on the same. I don't want to create a virtual network. I want to use my existing virtual network. I want to use my first network, and I'm going to use the new IP address. Oh, I already have a firewall. So why are you trying to, wait, what? What? Come on. Do I already have a firewall? Did it automatically create one when we created a virtual machine? Yeah. It's a new test server group. Oh, my second one has a firewall. Okay, so let's come here to this firewall. Let's see if we can add rules here. Okay, so cool. Yeah, we can add rules here. All right. So add a rule. The rule collection name can be anything. Add a rule. It says name can be anything. Okay, so I'm going to just do what they said. RDP forward. Priority can be any number between 1,000 and 5,000. I'm going to put 1,000. The rule name could be anything. All right, we're going to do RDP. I'm literally going to put into what they put. Spoke, just because it's easier. Protocol should be allowed, should both be TCP and UDP. So we're going to do TCP and UDP. And what value? Oh, well, I didn't get there yet, girl. Source address could be either a wildcard, which is the asterisk, or your public L4, which is say white. Just going to do wildcard. And then the destination IP should be the public IP address of the firewall. I'm going to assume that's the first firewall, right? So can I right click? No. Are you gonna? Oh yeah, you are. Okay, cool. So let's come back. Okay, we're gonna skip this for now because I think I messed up somewhere. So I have a firewall already, but that's associated with my second network. And for some reason, my first one doesn't have one. So let me create one for my first network. Okay, yeah, let me create one for my first network. I don't know why it doesn't have one. All right, first network firewall. I want to associate it with the with the first network, right? Oh, that's what I'm saying. This virtual network must have a subnet named Azure Firewall subnet. Azure Firewall subnet. Is it gonna let me change the name? No. That's weird. Let me see if this works. And if I leave everything as default. Oh, these goddamn spaces. Okay. Now let's see if we can get a firewall. I am getting sleepy. Okay. Now let's go back. Because it didn't tell me like which firewall I'm using to do that. I'm gonna do the first one, right? So let's do the first one. So let's come back to our network now that I have a firewall. Oh, okay. Before creating the firewall rule, take note of the public IP address. No, it still didn't tell me. Okay, so my first network firewall. I want to use existing. I want to put this with my first network. Oh my gosh, you're killing me. Azure Firewall subnet. Well, it said I needed a subnet or I need a firewall. And it won't let me change the name. Rotted. Okay, how I'll go back? Azure Firewall. I should have copied that. Alright. That's so weird. And it doesn't even tell you like why I would need that. Okay, that's added. Can I add a freaking firewall? Okay. Okay. At this point, I'm just creating random names now. Virtual network name. Why am I drawing a blank? Because I'm using new existing. I'm like, yo, what's happening? Why are you asking this? Okay, first network. I'm confused. Okay, so I'm not going to create a firewall here. I'm going to create a firewall in the second one because that's the only one that we create a firewall in. And I'm assuming that that's what they must be asking me to do. So I'm going to create a rule here because that's weird. All right, name. First NAT rule. Oh, well, no, it said to like, you want to do proper naming convention. So let's do best practices. Somebody tries to come for me. All right, the name is going to be RDP to spoke. It wants TCP and UDP. Source IP address is so it can be a wild card. Dang, I still didn't copy that destination IP address. Oh wait, the public address of the firewall. Dominique, listen to instruction because it literally told you to copy it. Public IP address, where are you? We don't create a public IP address. Now they're making me upset. Oh, there you go. Okay, cool. We getting somewhere. Cool. Can we do this now? Cool. Cool. Okay, RDP forward. We're gonna again put this to 1,000. We're gonna put this to RDP to spoke. IP address is going to be wildcard. Destination. Boom. Port. Excuse me. 3389. How you doing over there? Translated. Okay, they said 10.10.10.4. Then translated port should also be, I can't see over the 3338. Oops. Yeah, 3389, right? And create an inbound rule. I already did RCP spoke, so let me do it backwards. Spoke to RDP. And the source. So you didn't tell me to do. I'm not gonna pick a photo. I'm gonna pick both again. It should be 10.10.200.64/26. Destination is 10.10.10.4 and 3389. All right. Something's missing. Create an inbound. Oh, the network security group. I'm an idiot. I'm tired. All right. Let's add that. Okay, so that's updating the firewall with the first rule. And then we're supposed to create an inbound rule in the network security group, not in the firewall. So let that update, and then we can go to security group, which we had earlier, right? So that was network test resource group. I want to say this was the first. Which one did I create this one in? Excuse me. I feel like I gotta sneeze now. Thank you. All right. So I create an inbound rule. Oh, but I don't think this is the associated. Of my second network. Where's my security group? I forgot what I called it. See, this is why it's good to have a good naming convention. Security. I don't think that's where my security. No, I do not want security center. Okay, wait, go back. Now you're getting crazy. Okay, wait. Not subnet. Where's my security group? What did I call it? Because we created one up here. Oh, we didn't create a security group for that one. I want to say I called it demo security group. Is that the one I created? Is that the one we created earlier today? It should tell you what date you created it or what time. It should be 6, right? So like 5 something. Let's see. Good old handy notifications. No. More events. See, this is a good way of figuring out when things were created by going to your activity log. Because I want to make sure I created so many network security groups earlier today that I can tell what was what. Resource group. Okay, none of that. That's too deep. Don't want to help that. So I'm going to assume I think it's this one. Demos NSG. All right, cool. So I'm going to come here. I want to create an inbound rule. It already has 3 inbound rules. We're going to create another one. Source IP should be a range IP addresses. Okay. Why doesn't it let me name it? Okay. 10.10.200.64/26. We're gonna, yeah. And destination is also going to be a range. 10.10.10.4 and 3389. All right, I am gonna leave everything else as is. Create my security rule. Oh snap! Okay, are we at the end? Did we do it right? To test the firewall configuration, use the remote desktop available for Microsoft, Windows client natively, and Mac client here, of course, with a Mac client. Once connected, open the Internet Explorer window and browse to google.com. The response should be similar to normal bash. This is what should be expected, as no internet-bound rules were created in the firewall, while the NSG has default rules allowing all internet-bound traffic to pass, proving the firewall is working as intended. Okay, what do you ask me to do? To test the Azure firewall, use the remote desktop client. Because Mac, I have to do something else. RDP to the public address of the firewall. So let's come back and get that firewall. Public IP address. I need to copy that. And assuming all configurations are correct and stated in this guide, a standard Windows credential pop-up should be presented. Okay. So because I have a Mac, it's probably going to ask me to do a whole bunch. Yeah, see, that's what I'm not trying to do. But if I wanted to validate it, I would go to the Mac store, set up the PC, blah, 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 which is going to be a little bit more extra work than I want to do here at the moment because I want to eat and go paint. But at least I got through this lab. It was preventing me earlier having trouble figuring out how to get this far. So I'm glad I was able to get at least here, where we created a virtual network, we did a security group, we created a virtual machine, we created 2 networks actually and a firewall. We peered them, which means the resources within both of those network virtual networks can talk to each other or traverse with each other, and created a route table. So hopefully that was helpful and you guys followed along. If you have an Azure portal, I will be figuring out what the next demo is and maybe try to do it on Thursday. Don't hold me to it. I'm trying to hold myself accountable. Actually, you should hold me to it because I'm trying to hold myself accountable. So maybe Thursday and then maybe another one like on Saturday or Sunday. That's a little bit longer. But I'll figure it out. For now, I want to go paint. So I will see you guys later.